game, will it be Hammers Velocity from North America, or will it be Detonation Gaming representing Japan going through into that semi-final?
You know, Detonation Gaming has now made 2 itemization mistakes in critical games during this tournament. If they don't do this, I actually think they have the better chance of winning. They seem to have really good team fights, really good synchronization. They're going with a draft that allows them to continue doing this. Lance with the front line, being able to block for Sky on the back line. Sky's a bit of a risky pick into the Lyra, but there could be something else they're holding on to for their final pick to help deal with that.
Although it may be risky, I think Detonation's positioning in teamfights has generally been better than Hammer's Velocity ability to disengage. The only times really in that last game we saw them getting caught out was with Peace Royale.
Scarf gets locked in for the first time at the World Championships in a critical game. Hammer's Velocity brings Scarf into the picture.
I'm trying to think of what heroes we haven't seen picked. I think it's just Rona and
Baron.
Baron hasn't been picked, and Alpha.
Jewel, there's a few.
Jewel, yeah, I think that's 4 or 5, but it's still a very high pick percentage. And the Scarf, incredibly safe, of course, on that backline, does a huge amount of crystal power damage. Along with the Glaive for the early game shore up, Hammer's Velocity team looks to have good spikes throughout the entire game.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, Scarf and Lyra, that's a lot of poke potential. Lyra's going to help Scarf get to the mid game, to the late game, regardless of what Detonation Gaming decides to lock in here. Velocity feels pretty comfortable with this draft.
I'm looking at what Detonation Gaming have brought here, and I'm not seeing anything that's going to kill Scarf outright.
Yeah, I mean, this seems kind of like Detonation's caught off guard as this draft closes out.
I think the argument, if you're Detonation with the Arden pick here, is you Arden the Lance, you get the Impale onto the Scarf.
Get nice damage down. They're all clumped up right there. I feel like he could have got another poke down, but doesn't want to do so, and that's quite all right. It's going to be Hammer's Velocity making the rotation down to the jungle. They're going to hit this shop up. Zio grabs 2 pairs of boots right off the bat. Pretty interesting and maybe a bit of a mistap.
Yeah, because he can't act. Yeah, probably a miss there.
I mean, that happens, though.
It happens.
He's never tapped so fast in his life. Sometimes it's going to happen in this game. But that's what you got to watch for. That's how fast he's going to be tapping when he gets into these fights here.
I think one thing we're going to have to watch out for with this composition that Detonation Gaming are playing is this Lance Arden combination. And they're a very cohesive team. And we're seeing Satsuki just playing very, very well. So one thing I want to see is this Gauntlet and the Githian Wall stunning members of Hammer's Velocity into that Gauntlet. Because I think Detonation Gaming is a team that's capable of doing that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of my favorite combos. If you pick up a Lance, I love to pair it with the Arden for the natural Vanguards into the basics, the Impales, everything that comes with it. Aloha taking a lot of damage. That's going to be sigiled down. Tatuki's in a bad place, and this is going to be a dead Lance right here. First blood going the way of Velocity.
I think it's important to note that this is a change from the playstyle that we're normally seeing Detonation Gaming. I've never seen Tatsuki be this aggressive early on, and I think part of the reason is he is playing this Lance. It's a little bit more stronger and a little bit more tanky, but when you don't know where the other members of that Velocity are, you're just going to get flanked like they did.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, also having Banes there dropping a sigil and boosting his team into position. Aloha eating some pretty good damage, but he's going to afterburn over the wall. Let's see if they're going to look to contest this mid here. Picking this up would allow them to continue applying pressure to Detonation. If Detonation gets this, it'll be great for them. And let's see, that was Zio able to snag that. So Zio's going to smile, head right back up into the lane, happy.
Well, Velocity, they're moving so well as a team right now. I think the rotations are on point coming up from Velocity. They're coming in every single time, just into the jungle, forcing Tatuki and Viviquist to take a step back. And this is kind of what I said in the very first game, is that we want to be seeing Hammer's Velocity making a move towards the jungle, placing a little bit more emphasis on it. Because right now, so far, we've been seeing so much happening in the lane. And that's just playing right into Detonation Gaming's hands.
You know, as I'm watching these player cams as well, we're watching the game, you know, I see a lot of communication coming out of Velocity, and I really like to see that. One of the worst things you can do in this moment is just get silent and lose that team synergy that you had going before. They need to be in communication. They need to know what item is available, what abilities are available at all times to them. Detonation Gaming, they're going to be clumped up as 3 here. You see Velocity making the rotation. So Detonation Gaming a little bit more well prepared for this one. They are going to get the mid. Aloha has to use boots to go ahead and get out of here. So very nice job. I mean, we saw that last rotation right there where it went the other way.
Yeah, both teams had very nice rotations. All 3 members kind of met up in the jungle, and that, I think Velocity recognized that this might not be a matchup that they want to face, so they were able to back away. And as it stands, it's very, very even. If you look at the farm, even though Aloha has been going into Detonation's jungle very regularly, Tatuki is actually ahead in terms of CS.
Well, it's actually quite surprising there. And I mean, as we talked about these compositionally, and thinking you have a Scarf on one team, it definitely scales into the late game there. Do you give the advantage over to Velocity in the late game there? I mean, personally, I think it's not like too one-sided.
I think both of the teams are going for similar approaches, and I would say Velocity's approach is probably a little bit better. I think the Scarf is a very strong backline hero, and Vaynes and Aloha, their job is to peel away from him. You've got the Bulwark that negates a lot of the mobility coming out from Peace Royale and Tatuki.
All right, well, Tatuki once again able to secure up his mid. That's not going to go the way of Velocity. Either Zio or Aloha will snag that. They do get the fronts, so they're getting a little bit extra out of the map right now, but still just a little bit behind the network.
Just a little bit. It's only 100 gold. It's basically even.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, it's going to be the Impale landing onto Zio, getting walled backwards. One basic, two, the Sigil's down. Afterburn backwards, Tatuki taking a lot of damage. What is his team? Does the team want to help him out at any moment? That would be cool. I'm sure he'd be happy for that. There's the body block.
Tatuki.
Isn't enough. That's the Vanguard. Tatuki.
Oh, beautiful.
Tatuki. Can you get himself out of here? Yes, he does. That was a little too close for comfort.
That was very beautiful coming out from Destination Gaming. And I think that's a slight lack of communication coming out from Destination Gaming because Tatuki, he managed to land the Impale on the Githian wall onto Scarf, and they would have been able to pick up the kill had Viviquiz had the Vanguard available to slow down Scarf, but they didn't. So what we saw was Tatuki was out of position, Velocity were able to focus on him very quickly, and I was very fortunate that Destination Gaming were able to back away from that fight with no deaths.
Danger zone. I mean, I definitely thought that Lance was going to go down, so a bit of a miracle he's able to get out. Nice plays, nice body block by that Arden as well. And, you know, we have one of our casters talks about Frostburn quite a bit. What about in this game? Do you like it here as the first item on the Sky?
I can see why they're going for it, especially with Aloha there. It's to try and slow down Aloha as he tries to get close to Peace Royale. But I don't think it's necessarily the best pick. I would have preferred to see that Shasta Glass coming out because you've got this Lyra who can heal her team up. You want to be bursting every single member of Hammer's Velocity down.
All right, well, that makes sense. It's definitely an argument that I can get behind right there. Tatuki rolling forward, not going to find anybody. And there is a scout trap in that bush as well. Hasn't been cleared out yet. Detonation Gaming, just as a group, they go ahead and clear that lane wave out. They're going to rotate down to the jungle. Yeah, they are going to rotate as two down to that jungle shop as Lance goes back to his own jungle. And this is going to be Hammer's Velocity moving as three. Detonation not going to be getting caught here. They were just slightly ahead in that shop rotation. It looks like they should be getting their mid as well. Aloha steals it! Okay. Aloha sneaking in there. Very nice for them. Once again, just getting the regeneration off of that camp is such a big deal. I think a lot of people underestimate. Just simply getting that allows you to continue to apply pressure. Lyra able to secure the gold mine, so Velocity do get the gold mine that they started there, although Detonation were contesting it. So a pretty good job back and forth there. Small net worth lead starting to build for Velocity.
Yeah, it's very small though, 700 gold, 800 gold now going towards Hammer's Velocity. And I think one thing we have to consider is as we see more of these team fights breaking out, Destination Gaming, they need to get on top of that Scarf, but with a Glaive there, with a Lyra who can throw up that Bulwark and the Arcane Passage as well, it's going to make it very difficult for them. And Scarf, he is classically known as that late game hero because he is able to poke away. He does so much damage with every single Spitfire and Goop.
He really does, and having the Lyra, the Glaive in the front, I mean, that's such an incredible distraction for your team. I also really do like the Lyra with the Scarf in particular. It's just, you have so much AoE damage coming out. If you can control your opponent with the Bright Bulwark, it makes it really hard to get out of there. Not only that, to boost the Scarf with a Sigil, it can work wonders.
Definitely agree with you, because if Scarf starts channeling his Dragon's Breath, you want to be able to throw down a Sigil and just keep him going, because Destination Gaming will try and see that as an opportunity to focus on that Scarf. But I think we're getting to the point where Velocity, they're really beginning to come into their own, because that Lance Arden combination, as good as it does rely on Tatuki landing those impales, which she's not landing right now.
Yeah, he's not landing them, and whoa! Okay, death from above, a Surrey Fort. Peace Royale's going to be stunned up there.
To get Zio.
And they reposition. That's going to be a very nice gauntlet, actually. Zio's able to reflex and get out of there, but I like where he did throw that gauntlet down. I was surprised before that engage actually happened that Tatuki didn't pull the trigger and just go for Vaynes because he was very far forward. I feel like an impale into some damage would have been enough to find the kill there. And seeing that they didn't go for that makes me feel like they are just not ready to fight.
I don't think they are, and this is when I'm questioning this Lance pick. I think Lance jungle was very strong, but not for this team. Because Tatuki, I've seen him play Petal, Celeste, and Asamio. They're ranged heroes who's very comfortable in the backline poking away. Whereas this Lance, you're forcing yourself to be aggressive and be in the front line. And I gotta say, if you compare Vivi Quiz's and Tatuki's Lance, I would say Vivi Quiz's Lance is better.
Really?
Yeah, but he lands those impales every single time. His Lance is incredibly strong as that roam Lance.
Well, I mean, I think he did play it to a pretty high level. Although, to be fair, the Lance is essentially a ranged hero with the range that he has there on that poke. But let's see how it's going to play out here. And Tatuki hasn't completed that tier 3 damage item yet. He's going to move down to the shop. A lot of gold on him right there. That's going to be Sour Blade completed. Heavy Steel picked up. And they're going to move back right up into the lane. I mean, everything coming together for both of these teams.
It definitely is, and I think he's going to be going for, it looks like he might be going for that Breaking Point Sour Blade build, which I actually prefer the double Sour Blade where you just get a lot of damage coming out from every single skill that you use. But, Tatuki, he's kind of acting as a second roam right now, very front-lining, just kind of tanking for Peace Royal there.
Yeah, I feel like they're almost waiting simply just for the Scarf, and I don't know if I like that.
I agree, it's allowing Zeo to get a lot of damage down. They do manage to hit Aloha with that impale there.
Yeah, but the Glaive is quite tanky here. In the last update we had, Glaive, of course, getting a little more shield, a little more armor, and Lance actually losing some. Vivi Quiz, Blood for Blood, a self-Vanguard. Trying to buy some time here as Peace Royal not sitting on a lot of health. Both teams holding a Fountain. Baines has Crucible completed. It's going to be a Bright Bork and a very defensive Gauntlet down there. Wish he could have that one back. Tatuki's going to be afterburned into the proper positioning for him. Zeo's in there with that Dragon's Breath, takes the Arcane Passage back into a safer position there. Pretty unbelievable that nobody actually died.
Well, Tatuki was going to land the impale on Zeo, but Zeo went right through the Arcane Passage at that very moment. That turret is going to go down, and I think that whole fight, that whole little skirmish going on between the two teams absolutely exemplifies what is the problem with this game, and that is Destinations Gaming, their composition is at odds with their gameplay right now. They have to be very aggressive. They need to be the ones that are forcing these fights, but they're not. They're allowing themselves to be poked down with Velocity every single time. And if they continue to go down this route, Velocity, they're just going to continue building up this lead.
I agree that things are going the way of Velocity. I agree that Scarf is an amazing late game carry. But I want to go on record and just say that I think Sky is borderline almost equally amazing in the late game. With decent item progression, can get just as much work done. It all comes down to these skill shots, really.
I agree, but so far the Sky play, there's nothing that I've seen that would make me say, yes, it's on an equal footing with the Sky right now, with the Scarf right now. It's just been... What we're seeing is Zeo's just poking away the Spitfire, Peace Royal is losing a lot of health, and then they're just backing away. We're not seeing the chance, we're not getting the chance to see Sky show off what she can be capable of.
Well, maybe we'll get to see as time goes on here. I mean, honestly, I feel like hesitation was the biggest problem out of Detonation early here. But we are only 12 minutes into this game. We have a lot of time left before this is going to be over, but Detonation Gaming, they're going to have to start to make some plays. Breaking Point completed for Lance. Do you agree with this as the second item?
No. No, I do not. He has a very, very slow attack speed, and I think he should be relying on the damage from every skill shot that he lands, because his attack speed is so slow anyway. I don't think he's not going to be building up the stacks as fast, just because I just don't think, it's personally an item I don't agree with.
Okay, makes sense right there. And nothing wrong with disagreeing with that. Spitfire lands, Peace Royal slowed up just a little bit. 388 damage on that Spitfire, starting to really chunk through the Sky. Tatuki and Vivi Quiz on at the front line. You see Vivi Quiz has this Gauntlet ready to go. Let's see, maybe if they see Hammers a little bit further forward position, he might just go ahead and jump on that right there. But right now, let's Velocity have complete control. Impale's going to be off the mark. Little combat roll back into the safety of that turret. Death from above comes down. It looks like just with the forward barrage, this team just clearing out the lane minions. They want to solve this pressure out. The Velocity doing a very good job. And this is the thing also with the Lyra, right? I mean, the siege potential is immense.
We're definitely seeing that right now because Velocity, Zeo and Baines are at full health still. And Destination Gamer, we're seeing Tatuki being forced to teleport back to base because of the poke coming in from Scarf. They don't have the sustain that they had before.
And speaking of sustain, I mean, Eve of Harvest as the second item for Zeo, that really just brings it all together.
Absolutely. So what Destination Gaming need to do, as I said before, is to burst down members of Velocity, and it relies on this kind of chain of skills. There's a lot of coordination that is required from them to try and do this, and it starts off with that Impale. They need to get the CC down on Scarf and force that reflex block out so they can use the Gauntlet for them so that they can focus on him.
I hear what you're saying. I think that I will disagree with that. And I don't think they have to take the Scarf out first, but it has to be Scarf or Lyra. And Lyra has been very forward positioned in a lot of these fights, and actually is like a snack if you're able to impale her. She's incredibly squishy, but they haven't pulled the trigger on that just yet. But moving forward, you might see if they decide to switch things up here, adapt to the movements of Velocity. The poke is heavy. You see them getting more and more items. The Frostburn complete now for Zeo. That is going to be even harder for this Skye to move around these skill shots. Using Death from above at Forward Barrage once again just to clear this lane wave out. Look at Peace Royale eating so much damage from a Spitfire group combo right there. Tuki on the backside. Aloha just taking this back train right in front of Tatuki's face. He doesn't want to let it go, but there's nothing he can do. Aloha, he's in deep there. And he's going to be able to get himself out. But you can see that Velocity have complete control over the shape of this fight right now.
It's been a very strategic game for them, for Velocity so far, and I think the scoreboard is really telling of it. It's 15 minutes in, we've only had 1 kill, and they've managed to take down 2 turrets just by the sheer force of just poking away at the turret and just sustaining more than Destination Gaming.
I'm really curious. I'd love to get into the minds of these players and see exactly what they're thinking. We don't know right now, but I wonder, I mean, is this something that Velocity pulled out in the last second, thinking that Scarf was going to work, or was this a pocket pick coming into this tournament?
Scarf, we've seen Zeo playing Scarf a few times before, but honestly, what I say is, Scarf is someone that I've seen them playing an awful lot in the past season, so I don't think it's quite that pocket pick, and I think it is a bit more of a surprise. And when it does get to the stage, you have to be thinking, well, why not? You have to get risks.
Why not?
Why not?
Hey, that's what Vayne said about the Ozo earlier. Gauntlets down. Zeo and crew are going to go ahead and kite backwards. Arcing Passage taken by Peace Royale. Maybe a bit of a mistake. He's stunned up. Asuri into a safer position. Peace Royale trying to get some damage off, but he's taking more than he's dishing out. Zeo maybe a little far forward. Tatuki's locked onto the Scarf, but the Scarf's Eve going to work right here. The Bright Bulwark's down. Detonation. They've lost one. Are they going to lose more? Peace Royale. He has those broken myth stacks. Viviquiz trying to kite backwards. Peace Royale wants to do something, but he's in a dangerous position. He's going to get the back region here, but Aloha and Vaynes are going to be looking to sniff him out as he moves through the jungle. Peace Royale getting good damage onto Vaynes. The Sigil is down. He's in a bad place right there. He's chopped down. That's the ace. Hammers Velocity 4-0. Not a lot of kills, but all going the way of Velocity.
I've got to say, there was a moment in that team fight where it looked so bad for Velocity, and you did say yourself, Zeo was very far forward. He got stunned into the turrets by the Githian wall coming from Tatuki, but he was able to recover from that. And I think when you've got to look at it, the Scarf is really strong against the Lance and the Ardor because they are so slow. It's easy for him to land those Spitfires and build up the broken myth stacks.
Oh, it really is. And I don't know if it's coming through right now on the mic, but I can hear this NA crowd getting behind their home team, Hammers Velocity, right now as they move forward 1 game away from getting to tomorrow. The feels right now, Xingyu.
It's so close. I don't know if Destination Gaming will be able to take down this Kraken because Skye, she does reduce damage against this Kraken. For Tatuki to try and get some damage down, he has to get into very close range, and it makes it very easy for Scarf to get some damage down. So this could be the final push that we're seeing coming out from Velocity. This could be their road to the semifinals.
Oh, well, we're going to have it kick off right here. Zeo is forward, taking a lot of damage. Peace Royale has found the Scarf, but Aloha's there. Body blocking for a Scarf. Zeo, he gets it from the backside. Kraken still marching into the base of Detonation Gaming. Aloha and Vaynes do not want to let them get back there for free. Aloha, he's going to be slowed down by that Frostburn. Vaynes getting into a safer position right here. Detonation Gaming, they're going to have to get back and deal with this Kraken, but they have the nuisance of 2 of these Velocity members slowing them down, making it quite hard. Look at this. This is just a distraction right here.
They need to go for the Kraken.
Velocity, the masters of deception, the masters of distraction, maybe the masters of destruction as they move in to finish off Detonation right here. Detonation Gaming, they need to get good work done onto this Kraken. Aloha and Vaynes, they're probably going to be moving out here. Aloha's going to be rooted up, stunned as well. Will they be able to find the kill? Glaive's down.
But the Kraken, that turret's going down. It's down to the Crystal, and that Kraken is half health.
I mean, yeah, the Vayne Crystal's turrets are all down. Vayne Crystal's going to take a little bit of damage. It will regen back up. Detonation Gaming, though, getting their first 2 kills here in the game. A little bit of gold going their way, but their backs are against the wall.
It took so long, and with that Lyra there, we could potentially see the back door coming out from Vaynes. We need to get that line of vision down in the jungle, in the lane, in the base. There's so much potential here that they need to be wary of.
So basically they need vision everywhere.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Well, it's pretty simple. If you know, you just have to drop vision. Absolutely ever.
Good job. Good job.
Doing a, yeah, as you said, great job of getting that vision down. Right as Shinyi was mentioning how important it is just to have knowledge of where your opponents are across the map right now. And Dead Nation Gaming, they are one fight from being eliminated from this tournament right here. 19.5 minutes in. This is one of the lowest kill games like we've had throughout the whole tournament. 4-2 here. It's pretty crazy to believe, but it's just been the way Velocity have rounded Dead Nation Gaming up constantly. They never forced a fight, but they were winning without
you get
kills.
Zeo!
They got Zeo, the gauntlet's down. A Githian wall into that turret right here. Let's see if they can find some more. Arcane Passage back. That could troll his teammate out if they're put right into it. Aloha doing pretty good damage. Peace Royale, they've caught him. The Fountain's out though. They're turning around broken missed stacks on both Zeo and Peace Royale. The Arden had to dip out here. Zeo's very low. Peace Royale, he's getting the damage onto Vaynes right here. They're gonna get to Tuki. They want Peace Royale. He's in with the third strike, but Hammers Velocity win the fight. They are going to push in. This is their game right here. The series going the way of Hammers Velocity, and North America showing up in this tournament almost like nobody else.
3 teams through the semifinals. This means that one American team is guaranteed to be in the finals for sure.
How good does that feel?
Feels good, but not for me because I'm a European.